All right, happy Tuesday night, everybody. Welcome on into Raiderland World Headquarters. Glad you are out there. Tuesday's best. We're talking most quotable coaches all time, your favorite coaches who gave you great sound bites. Who are they? With Big 12 Media Days underway today, that's what gives us the impetus for the little topic of the afternoon. Now we don't stop there. We do have news from Big 12 Media Days, which by that I mean we have no news from Big 12 Media Days. Nothing happens anymore. But we have stories from old media days gone by. It used to end in Lubbock, Texas. We'll explain. And then also every college football fan who doesn't root for a so-called blue blood team should root for Tech this year. We'll tell you why. You guys ready to go? Let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up. Share it with your friends, your neighbors, people that you don't even know. Just stop them on the street and say, you know what? Raiderland is getting ready to go. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans. All you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, the website. You started your day there earlier today. You saw the cool hot links. You got the question of the day. Your favorite coaches when it comes to great quotes, funny quotes, coaches, managers, college, pro, the most quotable ones. You got that earlier today. We're brought to you by McAlpin Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Raiderland. His motto and slogan is not, if your back's out of whack, don't call a quack, call Kevin Mack. But how cool would it be if it was? I don't think they'll let him do that. I do know that he has worked on some of the most high-level Texas Tech athletes over the years, over the decades. He's a great West Texas guy. Also brought to you by South Plains College in Levelland. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. Find out everything they have to offer from, non-traditional students just looking for a little something extra in your career to beginning college students and everything else. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland there at South Plains College. And none of the communication takes place tonight without United Supermarkets and Market Street making it happen. The one grocery store here in town that puts their name on Texas Tech and vice versa. Hear about the Texas Aggie who thought vice versa was dirty poetry? So here we are, day one of Big 12 Media Days. The best thing for my friends in the local media that had to go down there, Texas Tech went first. They went moderately early in the day. In the mid-morning, it's over. They can come home, and it's done. Media days, I guess you have to do them. And Texas Tech, the Big 12 moved up media days about 2 weeks, 3 weeks from the last of July to now to get ahead of the SEC and the Big Ten and have kind of your standalone window. I would do media days, by the way, every year during the Major League Baseball All-Star break. If you were asking me, that's the slowest sports day of the year. No games, anything. I would absolutely do it during that. But that said, why do we still have them? They're kind of pointless to me. No news is generated. You bring the coaches together there in the Metroplex. They bring 5 or 6 or 7 guys with them. Nobody says anything. The schools bring all their media, artsy-fartsy types to do videos and stuff and churn that out. If I'm a media guy, why am I going? And you can tell I didn't go because nothing happens. There is no media. Brett Yormark comes out and says things he's already said. Coaches come out, they say things that they've already said. We live in a 24/7 cycle. College football particularly never stops. It's not like the old days where, spring football stopped in maybe March or, April, and you didn't hear anything, and all of a sudden Dave Campbell's Texas football came out, and then in late July they did a media day and you're hearing stuff. So why did they do it? Well, okay, it's marketing. 100% it's marketing. That's all it is. It's marketing for the league. It's marketing somewhat for the teams, but from a news standpoint, no. Back in the old days, though, it was different. We'll talk about that as we go through tonight. I want you to give me your favorite coaches when it comes to quotes. The most quotable coaches, managers, college sports, pro sports, any sport, your favorite ones. Now, we put this on the website earlier today, and you can get in right now. on that United Supermarkets chat line. Easy to do. Whether you're on Twitter, at Ryan Hyatt Media, Twitter X, whether you're on our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, and if you're not on it, you should subscribe tonight. And if you're watching on Facebook, Facebook Live, all those, they're all free. All of our platforms are free. And you should subscribe to all of them because you don't want to ever miss anything. Like I put the coolest halftime show ever in Texas Tech history on our Facebook page last night. 1970, Texas Tech going band, Doc Severinsen playing trumpet from the Tonight Show band. That Doc Severinsen, the ultimate lounge lizard. If you hadn't seen it, go to the Facebook page. That's why you subscribe to everything. So where are we tonight? Most quotable, favorite quotable coaches. I deliberately did not put any of my favorite ones on the website this morning because I didn't want to steal it from you. And I know some of you are going to want to go with some Texas Tech coaches. We had that Big 12 Media Days. I'll tell some stories of the old days, how it used to be, where the writers and some electronic media would start off in Houston and over about a 10 to 12 day period go to every school in person, not in one location, and then end up in Lubbock, Texas, and what just became just a media frenzied free-for-all of we're going to 50-yard line and we got a hospitality room. And there's the deal. So get your comments in, your questions in, thoughts, anything else tonight. Glad to hear from you. And I'm beginning to wonder, sometimes we're slow loading on the comments. Sometimes we're slow loading a little bit, and it just makes me nervous sometimes when it doesn't happen that way, that something's going on at the back end. But that's not going to stop us tonight. So what do we learn from Joey McGuire today at media? Let's see if I've got it. Here's the quote. Here's all you need to know from Don Williams, Lubbock Avalanche Journal, talking about all the expectations, the NIL money, everything else. And Don does this all the time. Son of a, he does this. Don Williams has done this for 35, 40 years almost now. This is his 39th Southwest Conference Big 12 Media Day to cover. Makes me feel old. But he will do all this stuff in the column, in the article, and then he buries the killer quote. And I don't know if it's to try to get you to watch all the way, but at the end of his story, talking about Texas Tech and all the expectations and everything else, he gives you these 3 paragraphs from McGuire. Now you can check off that we have the best facilities in the country. Somebody is not going to recruit against us whatsoever when it comes to facilities. Don writes, now has to come the winning. McGuire understands. In the McGuire quote, I've told everybody this, whether it puts more pressure on me or whatever, it doesn't matter. This year is huge. We have to win at a high level to be able to say, you can't say that we're not spending money. You can't say they don't have good facilities. And then you're not going to be able to say that they're not winning at this level. So there you go. That's all we needed to know from Big 12 Media Days from a tech standpoint. You got the resources. You got the dudes. You know you got to win. He knows you got to win. There you go. Dang it, Don. You know, you strung together like 27 graphs before we get there. That's what he does. JC jumping in on our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, regarding quotable coaches, Jerry Glanville and Bill Parcells. At a certain point, you are what your record says you are. Glanville, NFL, not for long, buddy. You keep playing like that, not for long. That's what the NFL stands for. He would say that to players. He would say that to officials. NFL, not for long. Jerry Glanville, by the way, still alive and occasionally gets randomly stopped on the streets of wherever he lives, somewhere in Georgia, and they don't know who he is, and he ends up being quoted on Fox News. It's kind of funny that way. What was his nickname for Brett Favre country? Didn't even know his name. Didn't really want him there. Traded him to Green Bay. It worked out. Turned out to be pretty good. So quotable coaches. And when I put this out there this morning, I meant really kind of from a fun, funny, humorous standpoint. And then I realized when I did some searches and everything else on the headline, and we vet the headlines and we run it through a search tool to see what it comes up at. It kept coming up with like very serious Vince Lombardi quotes, quotable coaches, Vince Lombardi, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. I was thinking more like Spike Dykes, Lou Holtz, suffering succotash. Lou Holtz could make any team they were playing, Sisters of the Poor. You were wondering, why am I not betting on them to cover this 67-point spread? My God, did you? Great quotable coaches. Texas Tech has obviously had a lot of them. Mike Leach. There were some quotes with Mike Leach. Okay, all right, well, go back to Spike. The campus paper in the late 80s, early 90s, from every Monday press conference, ran a Spike Dykes quote of the week in the paper. If they were doing that today, it would probably go viral. So I kept my teeth on covering Spike, coming out of college and going through college and covering him and then everything else. Mike Leach comes along and we go from, Spike's kind of down home humor to Mike, and you're going, what the hell is he talking about? We just did 5 minutes on the reproductory systems of whales and how they relate to TCU. He had two great back-to-back quotable coaches that couldn't have been any more different. Back when guys were not afraid to say things. Today, coaches are afraid to say things. You don't get a lot of great quotes. So we have that question tonight. Most quotable coaches, Big 12 Media Days, nothing ever happens at them. If it does, it's usually bad, and not this year. And then if you're a fan of a blue blood school, ignore this. If you're not, you need Texas Tech to win this year to prove that it can be done. That if you invest, if you do what Cody Campbell is doing, and Dustin Womble, and so many other Texas Tech supporters, it's not just them, but that if you fight the aristocracy and bring all of your money to bear, and I assume there are a lot of great schools out there that actually have graduates who've gone on to, make money and have money into the wherewithal, that as we talked about before, now is the perfect time to bring it to bear, that it actually makes a difference. You're not just building buildings. The facilities race was really a false flag, and it was beautifully executed by schools like Texas and Ohio State and Alabama and all those schools that they would throw that out there and make you chase the facility, and you'd never really catch up while still giving you a stiff arm on getting the players because you couldn't pay them directly. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't. Now that you can pay them directly, let me tell you right now, most of the players don't give two rats' asses about the facilities. It's just like the NFL. You know who consistently gets rated the worst in the NFL when it comes to facilities, amenities, and everything else? That would be the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. Clean that up, Hunt family. Get that thing fixed up. No, I'm serious. But you know what they do? They pay the players pretty damn good. And now players aren't going to really care about the juice bar. They're not, and Texas Tech is lucky that they did the Womble Center for basketball and the football deal and everything. They got that done before the revenue sharing started, because now most schools have no ability to come back in and do anything regarding that aspect. They are losing that ability. So why NFL and professional teams, their facilities really pale in comparison to a lot of top college deals. Tech got lucky on that front. But if you are a fan of any non-blue blood school, you absolutely should be rooting for Texas Tech this year to see the benefit, the direct benefit, paying players. I said it, I mean it. Paying players, spending money the right way, running it like an NFL team with the salary cap, managing it, giving the right money to the right players, the right position. And then they could go, wow, if Tech can do it, we can do it too. And then it's better for everybody. It breaks down the barriers. But you got to have Texas Tech. I really do think it's important that Texas Tech has success this year. You know, JC back on the United Supermarkets chat line. Media Day learned publicly that Baron Morton brought some boys down here to hunt, and they all returned. See, that's always good. You made it, got out here, showed up, went hunting. Years ago, Josh Bard, catcher, Texas Tech, 1997, 98, 99. Some friends took him hunting out there out by Dickens in that area. He'd never been hunting anything. He shot a cow. Now he didn't kill it, luckily, but he shot a cow. That was the end of the hunting trip there. Happens. So back to Big 12 media days and how they're not as cool as they used to be. So back in the day, and this ended with the demise of the Southwest Conference. But in the Southwest Conference era, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, and early 90s, they had the media caravan. It started in late July, ended early August. And all the beat writers from all the newspapers around the conference would start off down there in Houston. And you'd have some electronic guys that would make it, the TV guys lugging around their old cameras back in the day and all that good stuff. And they would start down in Houston. They'd spend half the morning at Houston, then half the morning at Rice, and then they'd start going up to A&M, to Baylor, to UT. They'd make their way around up to the Metroplex, over to Arkansas, and finish up in Lubbock. And so that's when I started covering Texas Tech in 89 and 90 and became aware of this, that the Southwest Conference Media Caravan and Tour ended up in Lubbock. So by the time this has gone on, it's damn near 2 weeks. These guys are tired. They're cranky. They're old anyways. They're old, ugly, cranky sports writers. And Joe Hornaday, the sports information director, along with Kelly Robinson and his staff, were more than happy to welcome them to Lubbock to finish off the tour because it ended in glorious fashion. So the day would typically go, you'd go out there to Texas Tech, and Spike would be available. I'm just doing this in the late 90s. Pardon me, in the early 90s. You know, Spike would be available, coaches, players, you'd break out. I can't remember if they had a lunch out there maybe or not. I vaguely remember being at the old Wiggins Complex Dining Hall one year. They kind of had like a cold lunch, you know, and everything. And then you had the breakouts, and you're sitting down, you're hanging out with Byron Hanspard, and you're talking to Zach Thomas, and you're talking to Marcus Coleman, and whoever it may be at the time. You finish up early after it. So then the writers would go back to their hotel, and they would write up all their stuff. The TV people would do whatever they did back then. And then it was on to dinner. This is the final roundup of the media caravan that's been going on all these schools. And it would be at the 50-yard line. Blueberry muffins, engaged, steak, everything else, probably some cocktails, paid for by your good friends at Texas Tech in the sports information department. Not media relations back then, sports information. But that's really when the fun was just getting started. Because back in the day, and I think the statute of limitations has probably expired, and I can tell this story now, before all home football games on Friday night, and maybe Saturday nights after some, depending on the kickoff time. And then at the end of the media tour, so Texas Tech had to deal with the Lubbock Inn down there, you know, off 19th Street, right where you hit Brownfield Highway. And it was room 214, and that was the media hospitality room. I can still remember the freaking layout. You come in the door, come in, bathrooms on the left, bathroom, ice tub down with beer and everything else. Then it opened up. It's kind of like a, you know, what do you call that? When we got two rooms together, maybe three. Wet bar, everything you can imagine. So around 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was young back then in the final days of the tour, so I kind of got out there early. I think I only went to the 50-yard line once. if I remember. And I really felt out of place. Most of the writers were really old, like Don Williams today. So I was more friends with the sports information department student interns. The ones tasked with going out to the strip, buying like 18 cases of beer, liquor you can imagine. So I decided that's a better deal. We'd get there to 2:14 early, and get started. And then all of the writers and all the media people would begin to trickle in as the night went on. And this night would go on and on and on. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're done. They filed their stories, it's over. And if you don't think sports writers can drink, you ain't seen nothing from the late 80s, early 90s for sure. And even today, the stories that were being told, guys like Jerry Wizig out of the Houston Chronicle. I mean, just so many. I can't even begin to name all the different writers. This is where I wish Don Williams were on with me tonight. It'd be really cool if he were. That all of that would go, and you just sat there as a young media member, just listening to those guys who'd been covering the Southwest Conference. Some of them from the absolute 60s. There might have been one or two from the late 50s. Again, this is early 90s. It's 59, 69. So from 59, 69, 79, 89, 35, that'd be me. Good Lord, that'd be me. And it just kept going and going and going, and it was incredible. And they loved finishing in Lubbock, Texas. And there was a different camaraderie between the media back then, the sports media, and how they worked with, I believe, the sports information departments like Joe Hornaday and Kelly Robinson and Kent Best and their crew and all their people. It was just a different era. Maybe it wasn't better, maybe it was just different. But I'm really glad I got to be a part of that era to see that and see. They used to call them the Skyriders too in the Southwest Conference, Skyriders, because they'd be flying, different places to get there and everything. They call them Skyriders. Different era. Today, in the 24-hour cycle of media, there's nothing new at the Big 12 Media Days. That's why I don't go. You're not going to learn anything for the most part. Get a couple of comments in tonight. I think the comments were being throttled down just a little bit. I think we're having a little problem on the back end tonight. But that means if you're watching on the replay and everything else, you can still fire away on our website, theraiderland.com. You can hit us on Twitter, X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Any weirdness with the coaches roundtable and how much money Tech had coming in? Don't think so. Didn't see it. Why would there be? Only if they were like totally jealous or anything. And they shouldn't be. Everybody can do what Tech's doing. Nobody's stopping you. Robert, wasn't the silver and black? Wasn't that the silver and black with the worst facilities for a long time? I think you might be talking about the Oakland Raiders, perhaps. Maybe. And that goes back to the comments about how college facilities opulent over the last 25, 35 years compared to professional facilities. That's all going to change now. You're spending money on labor and not on facilities. So maybe I think silver and black might be the old Oakland Raiders. Yeah, Al Davis wasn't going to spend a whole lot on that deal. 100%. That has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, Robert, but it was impressive. Anything that irritates Texas, I'm in. That opens up a wide range of discussion right there. Wide range. Where's it going to end up? You tell me. What's ending up with them? All right, we're going to shut her down for tonight. I do think we had a problem on the back end. this evening with some of the comments getting through. You never know. It's the way it works. We'll be back with you in the morning, though. What If Wednesday, brought to you by Shropshire Insurance of Texas. You never have to ask what if when you have Shropshire insuring you and your family, your business, your church, and everything else. They're independent, just like all great West Texans. Also brought to you tonight by South Plains College. The road to Raiderland runs through level land. McAlpin Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Raiderland. And, of course, United Supermarkets in Market Street. We'll have this posted up for you in just a little bit. Won't take too long. Then we'll get ready to get on tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We always enjoy it with you guys. You all are the best. We'll see you tomorrow at theraiderland.com.